of our products. We shall also be seeing some of the keynotes on loans. We shall also be highlighting the acceptable collaterals and information on guarantorship and also current and upcoming partnerships. Currently, we have the loan offers running until end of the year. We have the 5 times offer of your deposits and share capital, which enables members to access more funds to meet their needs, as the CEO has highlighted. The other offer is zero charge on consolidation. This gives members an opportunity to offset existing loans and also reduce loan installments for those who feel strained with the current installments and still want some cash benefits. For instance, assuming you took a loan of 4 million with an installment of 89,000 and the current balance is 1 million, you can apply for a loan of 3 million with a monthly installment of 67,000 and still take home 2 million shillings. It also enables you to consolidate your loans. For instance, if a member has a normal loan, Swift loan, and a top-up loan, you can consolidate them into one, thereby reducing the loan installments. You can also get in touch with us so that we can also advise you on your account based on the status and the need. Extension of the common bond. In order to align ourselves with our market players in the industry, the Sacco has extended the common bond to accommodate more members. We are now open to all professionals. You can therefore bring your friends from other professions. We also reminding members whose spouse and children are not members to bring them on board. For the children, you can open them a Mhasibu Junior account and start building a foundation for them. You can also access the funds from this account to pay school fees for the children, and also the account earns interest. And once the child attains 18 years, they shall be able to manage the account independently. Also, members note, by recruiting other members, you also increase your pool of members who are well known to you and are able to guarantee you. We are also accepting corporate membership for registered groups. Product highlights. We have the Swift loan, which is tailored to meet emergencies that may arise from time to time. We have enhanced the Swift loan from 12 months to 24 months and also increased the amount from 500,000 to 1 million to enable members access more funds to meet their needs. Our instant mobile loan limit has also been increased from 50,000 to 100,000. Members who are not registered are encouraged to do so by filling the mobile loan activation form, which is available on our website. We have the mortgage product, which has also been enhanced from the current multiplier of 4 times to 8 times, and the repayment period increased from 10 years to 15 years. Currently, the product is only for complete houses with ready titles, and the title acts as a security of the loan, and it shall be transferred to the member's name and charged to the Sacco. Some of the important loan information. These are the main areas that we focus on during loan processing. We expect the members to be contributing their deposits monthly and honoring all their loan obligations. When submitting the loan application, we advise members to ensure that they have met all the requirements as guided by the checklist that is available on the loan application form, available on our website. The checklist is also important for members intending to make loan applications in future, as this will guide them on what is expected of them for prior planning. We also sensitize members to visit our portal, which is a very interactive portal, on a regular basis and see how the account is performing. From the portal, you also be able to check what you hold in terms of deposits, share capital, and loan balances. You'll be able to see how much you qualify for in terms of loans, that is the 5 times, or whichever multiplier will be applicable. You'll also be able to know the amount you can guarantee each other members, which is the total deposits that are in your account. You can also check your status of your loan and whether all the payments have been updated. It also enables you to check the status of the loans that you have guaranteed so that you can take early action and follow up. As a member, you are supposed to ensure that all the loans that you have guaranteed are performing at any given time, as this affects you when you want to access a loan or guarantee other loans. You can also check installments of loans that you intend to take through our online calculator under the online loans. You'll also be able to get more information relating to your accounts, access to our reports, and also get the latest information through our quarterly newsletter. We have the acceptable collaterals. The Sacco has a wide range of acceptable collaterals. You can use your title deeds to secure the loan. The title will need to be charged to the Sacco before issuance of the loan. We therefore advise members intending to use titles to submit the application early in anticipation of the whole process, which normally takes about a month. We also have logbooks, which needs to be jointly registered with the Sacco. You can also use life policies at 100% of the surrender value, and also note that is not on the sum assured of the insurance. We have the Mhasibu housing completion certificates for lands whose titles are not yet out. And we have the Mhasibu children and the fixed deposit schemes that members can use. We go to the guarantorship. Over the years, we have noted a few challenges on matters relating to guarantors and would like to enlighten our members more on this. By definition, a guarantorship is a commitment or a pledge that you give to the Sacco that in case the member is not able to honor the obligation, you are ready to take up the obligation. We therefore advise members to ensure they guarantee loans to people who are well known to them or take advantage of a wide range of collaterals to secure their loans. Partnerships. The Sacco has recently partnered with TopDank and Textbook Center to provide members with discounted rates through the home care loan. We also have upcoming partnerships where members shall be able to acquire electronic devices from Safaricom at special offers and mattresses at a discounted rate. We're also looking into having our members and their family members covered through the benevolent products in case of demise of the principal member or immediate members of the family. We shall be sharing more details once everything has been finalized. We have the mandatory payments. As a member, you are expected to ensure that you have a minimum share capital of 10,000. The share capital is non-refundable, but transferable to other Mhasibu Sacco members. Members are also expected to make their monthly deposits contribution every year and also meet their monthly loan obligations as they are expected to. We also encourage members, once they take up loans, to ensure they also continue making contributions towards their deposits. Making payments. Members are advised to always indicate their membership number whenever making payments and send the details and slips to us for receipting through our email addresses. Members need not to come physically to the office to have their payments updated. For members making payments through M-Pesa, you are advised to key in the right keyword for the specific transaction you are making for automatic update of the accounts. This one you'll be able to see through the online portal, and that is why we encourage members to keep on visiting the portal on a regular basis. You can also visit our website for a step-by-step process of how to make the payments through M-Pesa, and also our account details for those who prefer making payments through the banks. The Sacco has a wide range of products to help meet the needs of each and every member. We keep encouraging our members to engaging our members to understand the changes in their needs in order to meet them. We have our savings products that include the Mhasibu Junior account, fixed deposit accounts, and also the holiday schemes. We also have the loan products, some of which include the normal loan, which goes for 60 months at a rate of 12%, which is on a reducing balance. We also have the top-up, which enables members to take up an extra loan besides the normal loan or any other loan that they may be having. We also have the plot buying loan for members acquiring land, where we finance up to 100%. The land normally shall act as a security, and it shall be registered by the member's name and charged to the Sacco. We also have the asset loan, where members can buy vehicles, and the vehicles shall act as the security. For you to keep in touch with the Sacco latest news, you can find us on Facebook at Mhasibu. Please like our page. We are also on Twitter at Mhasibu Official. We also at Instagram at Mhasibu Sacco, and also on LinkedIn at Mhasibu Sacco Society Limited. You can also write to us through our email address, that is info@mhasibusacco.com. And you can also call us through our office line that is indicated on the screen. As we conclude, I quote Dr. Nguyen. By having a clear vision, even a short vision of what will happen in the future, we will be less worried and feel a little bit confident and calm because we can manage our life in the world that is changing every second. Thank you for listening to us. And as the VC had indicated, please engage us through a Q&A. Our team is ready to respond to your queries as we proceed on with the meeting. Thank you.
Wow, Peter, that was precise. Thank you so much for taking us through that great presentation. I would like to assure the members that this presentation that the Peter has shared and the other one that will be presented by one of the consultants, we are going to share with you after today's session. So you'll get all that information for your reference. And so this time, also another thing, there's a page, those pages, online digital platforms, the Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We are requesting that all our members can go and like, follow, and connect so that you can get, all this information. The Sacco is always updating on these pages, and we would like you to stay, informed. And so also you can share with other people or in your Sacco so that we can be able to get more members to join our Sacco. This chance, I would want to call our chairperson of the board, the chairman of the board, CPA Jennifer. This is the opportunity for you to give us your brief remarks and also introduce the members of the board. Thank you. Karibu, CPA Jennifer.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Good morning, everyone. As I've been introduced, my name is CPA Jennifer Mboro, and I'm the current chair of the board. First and foremost, I would wish to welcome all of you members and thank you for honoring our invitation for this education webinar. It is quite encouraging that we have over 540 participants, and we thank you very much because it is through these engagements that we are able to give you information, and we are able to also get feedback from you, our members, in terms of the issues that are affecting you. Without further ado, I will introduce my fellow directors. Already you have interacted with the Vice Chair, Madam Rosaline Dukwe. We have the Treasurer, Director Dennis Wambua. We also have the Honorable Secretary, Director Charles Mongela. The Chair, Credit and Risk Committee, Director Alice Nyokabi. We also have our immediate former Chairman, Director Charles Miricho, and the most immediate former Treasurer, Director Ruth Kinyanjui. We also have Director Andrew Bulemi and Director Dennis Kihara. So those are the members of the board that are currently serving you, and we are happy for that opportunity. With that, then I will go to making my remarks, and our apologies that this is coming after one presentation already. According to the program, it was supposed to come before that presentation, but it is also as well because you have already gotten some information. So our esteemed members and stakeholders, on behalf of the board, I welcome you to our 2021 member education webinar. I wish to express our gratitude for finding time to attend this education session, and we are certain that it will be informative. This year, we mark 35 years of great service to our members. We are proud of the great strides Mhasibu Sacco has made, including having a global network of thousands of members, currently with over 20,000 members, with an asset base of 7 billion. The achievements are due to the effort of many of our committed members, and we thank you for your continuous support and patronage to our products and services. We continue to offer excellent saving opportunities and credit facilities that are highly competitive in the industry and the financial sector. It is notable that the COVID-19 pandemic, in one way or another, has brought a lot of disruptions in the economic performance in our country and the world at large, and also in the way of doing things. It is in this regard that we as a Sacco are constantly and continuously exploring various options to serve and communicate to our members through digital channels in order to safeguard all our stakeholders and to adhere to protocols that are issued by the government from time to time. I encourage all our members and your families to continue keeping safe and observing MOH guidelines. On a brighter note, we are proud to inform our members that Mhasibu Sacco is now licensed by SASRA as a regulated non-deposit taking Sacco. This is a great milestone for the Sacco and goes a long way in safeguarding member funds, since SASRA will now act as a watchdog and regulate all the activities of the Sacco. Our intention is to make the best out of the regulated space and enhance our products and services. The Sacco can now be able to exploit the opportunities that come with being regulated. We are working on achieving and rolling out virtual FOSA services, and we shall keep our members updated on the progress. The board remains committed to steering this great Sacco to even greater heights. In the next 5 years, our focus is on creating value for our members and achieving business growth in membership, performance, and asset base. And this is going to be characterized by service excellence. Being the first year of our strategic plan for the year 2021-2025, our focus is on expanding possibilities to navigate the future. And this we are intending to do by leveraging on technology to ensure service excellence that meets members' needs and expectations. Our intention is to be the leader, offering the best for our members. Currently, the Sacco is in the process of implementing 3 major ICT infrastructure upgrades, which include the ERP, document and workflow management system, and upgrade of the servers. This is aimed at increasing our competitiveness and giving members the best experience when interacting with our services by offering more efficient, reliable, and seamless services. I urge all our members to take advantage of the Sacco savings and loan products, since it is through patronage that we are able to grow and offer more benefits. We thank you for choosing Mhasibu Sacco as your trusted financial partner and wish you an informative session. So thank you once more. And I wish you a more interactive and educative session for the upcoming or the remaining sessions. Thank you, and back to you, Vice Chair.
Thank you, our Chair, Jennifer Mburu. I think we are moving on swiftly, and we're still on good with time. So the next, we are moving to our consultant. Our theme today was expanding possibilities to navigate the future. And we'll therefore welcome the consultant, Uni. This is your time, this is the opportunity to take us through your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rosalind. I was checking if my colleagues from Cusco are present. Patrick or Paris, are you there? As I do that, I will prepare to share my screen.
Are you
but
able
let me begin by...
Sorry for interrupting. Are you able to share your video so that we get
Yes.
to see you?
I am trying to manage a couple of things because I want to share my screen.
Okay.
If you do allow me, I will share my video at the end when I am picking questions, so that I begin with a screen, if you don't mind.
That is perfect. That is okay.
1 minute for that. So I was going to say good morning to the members of Mhasibu, and I must say that it is very encouraging to see that early in the morning we have 550 people online. I have attended a lot of Sacco member training, and I must say, I think this is a first of us. So if you can give virtual claps, if we were in a physical meeting, we would be clapping, but please give some virtual claps. Give some virtual claps, even as we begin. So my name is Yunin Nzioka, and I'll be sharing with us, more to say provoking us this morning, on the very interesting topic that Mhasibu has chosen for us, and that is expanding possibilities to navigate the future. And so I will be sharing my screen. I am here this morning on behalf of Cusco. I am a consultant and trainer, and my background has been in the financial industry, in banking, and also in Sacco, and now in consultancy. It is not the first time that I am engaging with us, and so I know some of us who are here with us earlier in the year, we had a discussion on this whole area of the pandemic, the crisis. How are we managing? What can we do about that? And I must say, we are here again to just share ideas and ask ourselves, really, as Sacco members, what has been happening out here in this space. So let me begin by saying that when the pandemic began, I don't think any of us really knew or thought how far we would go. Now we are in a situation where everyone is saying that this is the new normal, and we are being told to just get used to the pandemic. Each and every one of us are at a different place as far as that is concerned. Some of us are believing that, I mean, we're going to get through it. It will go away like the Spanish flu. Some of us are thinking, okay, maybe we need to just accept and say, what is it we can do? With the vaccines coming on board, well, a lot of mixed reactions to that. But I must say that for many people, that also means different things. For some, it means, okay, we are accepting that, well, we need to just get on with this. For some, it means there seems to be no solution. So we cannot really talk about where each and everyone is. But I must say that we are in a place where hope must be kept alive. This morning, as we come to talk about this topic of the expanding possibilities, I want to always, something I always do, and I did last time when I was with us as Mhasibu, to always remind us what is a Sacco. When we talk about Mhasibu Sacco, who are we really? And why I like to talk about that is that in the recent past, in the couple of years past, Saccos have metamorphosized, some into investment clubs, some into something else that is not Sacco. But it's always important that we remember what it is that makes us a Sacco as we are. And as I say that, towards the end, you will see why I might be very particular about that, because we as members of Mhasibu, if we don't take care of our Sacco, if we don't take care of the origin of who we are, we might, hello, can you hear me, Rosalind? Hello, can you
yes,
still
we
hear
can
me?
hear you clearly.
You're good, Juni.
I'm good, thank you. There was a bit of interruption on my end, but I'm happy that we can hear. I'm saying that it's important that we always remember when we are talking about Sacco, who exactly are we? And we really must guard and protect Sacco. And Sacco just means that me and you have come together to achieve a common objective. So the 550 of you, of us who are here, that are members of Mhasibu, have come in to achieve something. And it's so important that we understand what is this something. I will tell you for a fact, but something that we saw even during COVID is that people who are moving from Sacco to Sacco and going round, round the Sacco and sometimes coming back. As Mhasibu Sacco members, if we understand what our foundation is, then we shall guard against the temptation really of doing this. And so I want to ask you, who really owns Mhasibu? When we say that Mhasibu is a Sacco, and a Sacco means an institution that has come together by individuals to achieve a common objective. So who really owns Mhasibu Sacco? And that's what you should be asking yourself this morning, and taking pride in the fact that as a member of Mhasibu, you actually own this Sacco. But the second question I like to pose to us is, why did you join the Sacco? Because one thing I have seen in the Sacco movement, if we don't define our why, then we have a potential of having ourselves as members complaining so much and feeling like this Sacco doesn't add value to us, and then always looking on the other side. And somebody said that the grass is always greener on the other side until we get there. I don't know how many of us have probably jumped out to check on the greener grass and then realized that, well, it wasn't as green as you thought. What makes the grass green is that really we as members must water the grass. So if we take ownership of Mhasibu Sacco seriously, and we say that this is my Sacco, and I am going to make it as green as I want it to be, when you look out there and see the green that you desire, instead of thinking, I want to go to the other place, let's hold hands together and water this grass in Mhasibu. Make Mhasibu the green that we want to be. We cannot afford to come in and then to leave, because when we leave, we actually are tearing apart the foundation of what a Sacco is. But in saying that, let me ask us, where else are you saving or borrowing? And why? Of course, if we were in a physical meeting, I would have said, can you raise your hands if you are on Mshwari? Can you raise your hands if you are on Fuliza? Can you raise your hands? All those questions I would have asked us. Then I would be asking, why? Because I must say that it is in the Sacco movement that I have found something very interesting. Think of a shopkeeper who is selling milk and bread and eggs, but every morning he is going to the neighbor's shop to buy milk. Can you picture that? I am a shopkeeper. I sell milk and bread and eggs, but every morning when I want to make breakfast, I actually go to buy milk and bread from my neighbor's shop. And then I sit and wait for all the other people to come and buy from me. I want to challenge us, even as I go through this presentation, that is what some of us seem to be doing with our Sacco. We have the milk and the bread, but we go to the neighbor's shop to buy the milk and the bread, and then we sit here and wait for everyone else to come and buy the very bread and milk that we did not buy from our own shop. So I want you to think about it. What is taking you out there? Why, for example, do you go to Mshwari and then ask yourself, if my Sacco does not have a product like Mshwari, why don't we come and water the grass of our Sacco and tell our leaders, this really is our pain point. We want something where when I'm in my house, I can click a button and get my 5,000 shillings. And then let's together develop it so that we can actually maximize what we are doing in the Sacco. And I'll also be ending with that when I come to the end of my presentation later. So what am I trying to say? I am saying that we need to maximize on our Sacco. We own it. You as a member sitting right here, listening through this, and the reason you came on such a bright and early morning on a Saturday when there's so much else to do is because you love your Sacco. How much more can we patronize this Sacco? I want to say that from experience, having led a Sacco in this country, one of the things usually is when there's a disconnect between what my real need is and what my Sacco is providing. And I like already what I have heard from the chair, from the supervisory committee, and even from the executive desk, that Mhasibu is emerging. Mhasibu has its ear on the ground, listening to the member, responding to the member's needs. So what is that need? So I encourage you as a member of Mhasibu, when you see something good out there and you're thinking, I would have wanted to have this, bring it back home. Let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do. That is how we develop products in the Sacco. I loved an experience I had when I worked in a commercial bank. And we had these customers who were so loyal that even when they went out there, and of course, it's an open space. So if another bank would entice them with some very good product, they would actually accept, do everything needed. But before they say yes, they would come back to us and say that, by the way, I am going next door. And I'm going next door because this is what next door is offering me. And I've realized you cannot offer it. So we would look at it and say, okay, is it really that we can't do it? Or is there something that we can do about it? I want to challenge us this morning. First of all, to have your own individual objectives. What is it that is a real need for you? Because if you don't have your own individual financial objective, then it will be a challenge for you to maximize your Sacco membership. When the executive is telling us how we have revolved, how we have emerged, how we have realigned our loaning products, how we have realigned our Sacco products, you might not find the best way to maximize that if you do not have your individual financial objectives. So I'm challenging us as individual members to sit back and ask ourselves, what is it I really want? Maybe in this season, what you really want is a plot. Maybe in this season, you want to take advantage of some investment or buying shares in a company or any other investments that are out there. How best can you use, let me use that word loosely, use your Sacco to achieve your individual financial objectives? Because I believe that if all members of Mhasibu took Mhasibu Sacco as the first line of defense in terms of their personal financial objectives, this Sacco would grow by double. And I can say that confidently. If we all brought in all these needs that we have and what has made us have to look out for other financial solutions, and we brought them in-house, I tell you, the growth that we are going to achieve as a Sacco and as individuals is going to be something that we cannot even talk about. So my challenge to us, let's own the Sacco and let's patronize our own products and services. And when we have a gap where we are feeling the Sacco is not doing this for us, let's not go out there and look for the solution. Let us make Mhasibu Sacco the first line of defense. Let's come back home and say, we are not happy because there's a product we are seeing out there and you're not giving us. And let's leave that in the hands of our leaders. Now, if we are going to navigate the future from where we are, it's good to think about what are some of the emerging issues. I know there's a lot we can talk about in our macroeconomic environment, in our micro environment, but today I just want to come back to one or two items that are very close to our hearts and something that we can easily relate with. First and foremost, we are having increased regulation, and this might not be only in the Sacco space. Usually, when you are in a season of crisis, you could have increased regulation. But I will say that the SASRA regulations has been something that has been in the works even before the pandemic. So that is one of the emerging issues, is the regulation that touches directly on how we do business at Mhasibu Sacco. And the executive already said something about it. I will talk about it and pick some highlights for us as members on the emerging issue in terms of the regulations. Number two is the increasing competition. In the past, we talked about our competition as Saccos being the banks and the microfinance institutions. But right now, our immediate and direct competition, hello, yes? Our immediate and direct competition, somebody needs to be muted. Yes. So our immediate competition seems to be the Sacco next door. And that is something that didn't happen in the years past because we had our common bond locked in. And for example, we said the Mhasibu Sacco is a Sacco for accountants, registered accountants, or people in audit firms. And Mwalimu Sacco said our Sacco is for teachers. But because of the opening of the common bond, which we as Mhasibu have also done, there is increasing competition within our own model, which is the Sacco model. How best positioned are we to reap the benefits of that? It is a double-edged sword. It means that my member at Mhasibu Sacco can walk into Sheria Sacco tomorrow, can walk into Stima Sacco tomorrow, can walk into Mwalimu Sacco. But it also means that the members of those Sacco can walk into Mhasibu Sacco. So that is an emerging issue which we need to be alive to. In the economic sector, we are seeing a rise in inflation. A good number of us are accountants, so I know we relate with what is happening. Inflation is rising, the cost of living is rising. On the other side of it, jobs are being lost. We are losing jobs. Businesses are scaling down. That means the money in the pocket of our members could be going down. However, on the other side of it, we have people who are taking advantage in a positive way of this season and seeing the opportunities there are and starting new businesses or starting new lines of income. So that is an emerging issue. Allow me to say something about the non-deposit taking Sacco regulations. Some of us could be aware of this. Some of us might not have taken time to really think through this. Now, these regulations really are about bringing in prudential standards into the Saccos with an aim to guiding the regulation and supervision of Saccos in Kenya. We may be aware that for years, our registration as Saccos was embedded in the Ministry of Cooperatives, and therefore, naturally, our supervisor was the Commissioner of Cooperatives. And that is the person that supervised us through the DCOs, through the framework that we have. As years went by, and as is common, sometimes regulation and the law follows after what is happening. And in the early 90s, Saccos went into the front office arena, the forces, to take advantage of the cash flow possibilities that were there, so that when we give members loans, then they don't have to withdraw the whole money, take it to a bank, but we can manage that money piece by piece so that we have more cash flow within us. And also to take advantage of the opportunities to bring more people into the fold. And after that happened, we did realize that there was a high risk in the way Saccos were running the front office service activity, the forces, because really Saccos had gone into some quasi-banking sort of arena, and that it became necessary that we be regulated. So all the discussions around, do we get regulated by central bank? Is the Ministry of Cooperative then have sufficient capacity to regulate the Saccos? And the answer was none of those was going to be a solution. We wouldn't come under central bank, and the Ministry of Cooperative probably might not have sufficient tools to regulate the Saccos. And that is how the Sacco Act came into being. Sacco Act 2008 gave birth to the Sacco Society's regulatory authority, SASRA. And SASRA then was mandated with the whole aspect of regulation and supervision of SACCOs with FOSA in Kenya. And that is how the Sacco regulations came into place. At the time, those regulations were specific to SACCOs with FOSA. However, within the Act and within the regulations, SASRA was mandated to bring any other SACCOs on board that needed regulation and not just the SACCOs with FOSA. It is in that breath that the SACCOs, the SASRA, gazetted the non-deposit taking SACCO regulations. We call them non-DT regulations, and non-deposit taking in this sense that we are not taking withdrawable deposits like the FOSAs or like the banks. Our deposits are the long-term deposits that are in the back office, and so a member cannot walk in and withdraw. Those deposits are tied to membership and will only be released upon a member leaving the SACCO. So that's what we call the non-deposit taking SACCOs. And you are aware from July 2021, this came into force. And I am happy to note that Mhasibu Sacco has been at the front line of ensuring that we do comply. What are some of the guidelines in these regulations, which really mirror what is in the banking sector under the central bank? The whole aspect of licensing, governance, capital adequacy, credit management, risk classification and provisioning, our liquidity management. How do we deal with our savings and shares, investments, reporting, regulation, and supervision? All that under the regulations. But this morning, I will want to just talk about a few of those. And the first, and probably what I would say the most important, is the licensing. In our case as Mhasibu, or the non-deposit taking SACCOs, we call it authorization. And I have just put there a comparison between what is happening with the DT, deposit taking SACCOs, the SACCO with FOSA, and what is happening with us as the non-DT. Now, what is happening is that the regulations are aimed at achieving the same objective, but in realization of the fact that we as the non-deposit taking SACCOs operate differently and our risk levels are different from those of the deposit taking SACCOs, some of those requirements you will see are a bit, I would call them, softer. Now, the whole area of authorization for us means that each year we are going to apply and to get authorized. For the DT SACCOs, what we give them is a license. For the non-DT, we are getting authorization to conduct business. And so every year we will be applying for that authorization. What does that mean for us? It strengthens the oversight of SASRA over Mhasibu Sacco. And let me say that anytime you have a big brother watching over you, internally, you have a lot more need to do the right thing. I'm not saying that Mhasibu and other SACCOs were not doing the right thing, but I'm saying that the aspect of regulation every year helps us to keep us on toes and helps Mhasibu to ensure that throughout the year, we are doing things right, because it's not a guarantee that you're going to get authorized, but more importantly, if there are gaps in our operations, those will be highlighted even as we get the authorization. Secondly, and important, is our capital adequacy. Capital is really our foundation. So we have two aspects of capital. We have what we call core capital, and then we have what we call institutional capital. Let me say that when we talk about core capital, we are talking about our share capital as members, the one that can be attributed to individual members, and the capital that belongs to everyone and no one. And I will say what that means. So we have two aspects. We have the share capital, And then we have the institutional capital. Share capital, we all understand what that means. When we talk about institutional capital, we are talking about capital like our statutory reserves. We are talking about any other reserves that we put aside. We are talking about our retained earnings. That goes to institutional capital. Now, without going into the numbers and the ratios, what exactly does this mean for Mhasibu Sacco and for Mhasibu Sacco members? It means that at every one time, we shall be checking where we are in terms of our share capital. But more importantly, on the other side of it, we shall also be checking where we are on institutional capital. That means that from time to time, we may need to increase our share capital or to make sure that as we go by month, that share capital is embedded in our contributions. Secondly, we may need to ensure that our reserves are growing. Naturally speaking, when you make surplus, you need to set aside 20% as a statutory reserve. So in the natural business, our institutional capital will always be growing. However, for SACCOs, there might come a time when we need to be deliberate about setting aside some reserves, deliberate about retaining some earnings and not distributing all that as dividends. So it is something for us to be aware so that from time to time, as the executive and the board engages with us and there's a need to either boost our share capital or a need to retain some more earnings or a need to increase reserves, we are aware that all this is in a form of balancing our capital ratios. Our business is going to be embedded on these ratios. How we give our loans, the more we grow, the more capital we need. So this is a figure that will be checked each and every time. And I'm sure the management and the board will always get back to us on this. However, it's always good to be proactive. So one thing I advise SACCOs, look at the long term. Look at 3 years from now. How do we project our business to be? And as we make our projections, as we make our business plans, let's also project what capital ratios are we seeing and whether those will be in line with what we expect. And as natural as we are as accountants, we are very good planners, then we shall plan beforehand how to increase our capital as we go along. The second aspect that might be good to highlight this morning in terms of the regulations is the aspect of our credit management. Now, in credit management, one of the challenges that we have had in some SACCOs, and I believe Mhasibu is not one of them, is the aspect of insider loans. And I must say that insider loans affect any financial institution, whether you're a bank, a microfinance, whoever you are, you will give loans to insiders because after all, we as insiders, we as the staff, we as the board are still members of the SACCO and we shall come for loans. Hence, the whole aspect of the insider loans. Now, when we talk about insider loans, we are going to have very specific need for approval of insider loans. And secondly, in terms of oversight, I will request us to mute our mics. In terms of oversight by SASRA, SASRA will then look at our insider loans frequently. What does this mean for us? That our insider loans really should be given based on the policies and procedures that do exist. Because that has been one of the cries in some SACCOs. Members then can take confidence in knowing that even if there would have been a possibility of insider loans having a challenge with the increased oversight, that challenge is eliminated. The third one is on the issue of classification and provisioning of loans. I might not say so much about that, only to say that we need to be very robust in managing our loan portfolio. We know that post the pandemic, actually somebody told me the other day, don't say post-COVID, because we are still right in it. Yes, so I would say within this season, from when the pandemic began, all financial institutions have had to face a challenge of increasing default. It's not unique to Saccos and it's not unique to Mhasibu. The issue is, how do we respond and deal with these issues? The other aspect is on the aspect of investments. How much the Sacco can invest is a matter of keen oversight by SASRA. On this one, I would say, I wouldn't say much to the members of Mhasibu Sacco, and that is because we already have our subsidiaries, and our subsidiaries have offloaded this area of investments so that then the Sacco can really focus and keep lean in terms of investments and keep in with the regulations. For Saccos that don't have separate arms, that's where the challenge would be, because then we mix the need for investment, the need for housing, and the core business of the mother Sacco. So in terms of Mhasibu Sacco, I think you are already ahead. Maybe somebody must have foreseen a time when regulation is coming, and kudos to all of you for that. Now, let me talk to us now as members when it comes to the other emerging issues. We've already said that regulation really boosts our confidence. And every year, we shall be seeking authorization. It's very easy for us to know whether our Sacco is doing right or wrong. All we need to know is, do you have the authorization? And just like an audit, yes, there still could be gaps, but that means that we are working closely with the regulator. But as members, what are some of the ways that we are going to respond to these emerging issues? Number one is to switch on the survival gear. We must survive. And I've been telling people, COVID has brought a new twist and a new challenge to life, because it is not choosing. You cannot say that I was disorganized. You cannot say that I was not prudent. Whatever the case, some of us have been prudent, but we have been affected. But what is important before we go into the area of thriving is to survive. So we need to put on our survival gear and make sure that we survive this crisis season. And how do we survive? Number one, we need to pick lessons from the crisis. And the lessons that we pick from this crisis are going to help us as we go from survival to thriving. What are some of these lessons that we have learned? We have learned that it is important to conserve our cash flow. It's important to always have some emergency fund somewhere. It's important to have relationships so that when a crisis hits, we can quickly run to some of these places and be sorted. And I want to say this morning, what better place can you have than have a Sacco like Mhasibu and ensure that your relationship is good? I was telling some people somewhere the other day, some of us have built very strong relationships with each other. And so it was always easy to run to Daniel Moredi or to Caroline or to Peter and say, please give me 5,000. But now the pandemic has hit all of us. So when you're running to one person, you find that they are in a crisis, maybe even worse than yours. So where do you run? Then we need to have good relationships with our institutions. And I would want to encourage you, members of Mhasibu, if there's ever a time where you need to have a strong relationship with your financial institution, it is now. As we conserve our cash flow, where do we conserve that cash flow? We are also learning that it's risky to go everywhere. It's risky to put your money in some ventures. It's even risky to put your money in some chamas. So which is your front line? Our front line then is our Sacco. Secondly, we have learned not to delay capital investments. Some of us wanted to buy a plot, wanted to put up a home up country, or wanted to buy one or two things that are capital investment. And the pandemic has taught us that, oh, sometimes it's important when you think about some of these investments, start that journey. And now that is where we seize opportunities. When we see the opportunities emerging for capital investments, we will not shy away. We will not shy away and say that we're in the pandemic season. It is time to look at what opportunities is the season offering and seize these opportunities. However, we must manage our risks. So what am I saying? We are going to take calculated risks and ensure that we can seize this opportunity. So if we have plots on sale in the housing, we cannot say now that it's in the pandemic, we don't want to do that. Just create a balance. Create a balance between conserving your cash flow and taking advantage of the opportunities to enhance your capital investment. I've talked about managing risk, but what is risk? In a nutshell, risk is uncertainty. Uncertainty. And I tell you, we live in an uncertain world. The crisis maybe just brought it a bit to the core, how uncertain this uncertainty is. But thankfully, we can learn lessons from this. So how do you really manage your risk? Some people avoid risk, and that's what I'm saying. Don't avoid it. Face it head on. Take calculated risk. Some do accept it and say, yes, I still need to buy that plot. I know there's a risk, but when I do my mathematics, what better time to do that? And in the time of conserving cash flow, remember, you can conserve your cash flow in liquid form by putting savings and deposits in your Sacco, but you can also conserve your money by putting it in long-term capital investments that you can liquidate at a later time. You can also reduce your risk, but you can also transfer it to someone else. Risk transfer, we're talking about insurance. Have some insurance to take care of any risks you know you must take, but you want to manage. As I come towards the end of my presentation, I want to say something about risk reduction. I know that one of the best ways to reduce risk is to diversify. So that you say, why must I put everything in Mhasibu Sacco? If I want to manage risks, I am going to diversify, put a little in Mhasibu and spread it all out there. And yes, for a long time, even when I was studying finance, we had one mantra: don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that is what sometimes is the driving force for us when we look for diversification strategies. And when I ask you, why are you putting your money in so many places? One answer could be, I just want to diversify. It's not because they're giving me more, I just want to diversify. I can't put everything in Mhasibu Sacco. I don't know how many of you are thinking in this way. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Today, what I want to tell you is that the wise man puts all his eggs in one basket and watches the basket. The wise man puts all his eggs in one basket and watches the basket. Because really, what would be the risk if you put your eggs in one basket? The risk is that the basket could fall and you could lose your eggs. But what if you had a way of ensuring that your eggs, even though they're in one basket, you are really watching that basket? You do actually manage and eliminate the risk. So the big question is, as members of Mhasibu, I started by saying, let's bring in everything that we have. Let's not spread it all too thin. But how are you going to watch your basket? Elect the right people into your governance organs, because these are the people who will make decisions every day on your behalf. Number two, elect the right people in your oversight body. When I talk about governance, I'm talking about the board. When I talk about oversight, I'm talking about the supervisory committee. The moment you have the right people in those organs, you are almost assured that your basket is safe. And so you can put all your eggs in that basket. But third and most important, and that's why I would say congratulations to Mhasibu Sacco, 580 members as we speak is no mean task. Attend and participate in Sacco meetings and forums. That's where you have an opportunity to ask a question. If you feel that your basket is shaky, you feel your basket is not being well watched, you can ask questions as you attend these forums. So as I conclude, members of Mhasibu, which is your basket? I want to challenge you that your Sacco is your basket. Let us put our eggs in this one basket. Watch this basket. So my Sacco, my basket. If I was in a physical meeting, I would have said, everyone, can you shout my Sacco, my basket? But I'm sure you can do that through the chat. Those of you who can unmute yourself, you can unmute and just say, my Sacco, my basket. Thank you very, very much, members of Mhasibu Sacco. We shall be glad to take questions that you might have on the chat, but I think I would want to hand over that to Rosalind so that she can lead us through that session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Uni, for a great presentation. We keep on learning and growing as well. Thank you also for the team that is online responding to the member queries. And we are encouraging all members that there is a Q&A where you, instead of putting your questions on the chat, please move to Q&A. We have a group of team that is dedicated to you to respond to all your questions. And therefore, also the same group has also, when Uni was doing the presentation, they have, put some questions together that are in relation to the presentation that Uni did. And so we are going to take about 10 minutes. We are going to give back to Uni to actually be able to respond to our members in regard to the regulations and other things that you highlighted during your presentation. So back to you. We have, so far, so good. It's 10:52. So by 11:02, we should be able to close the Q&A session, so that we can close our meeting. And thank you so much, members, for staying with us despite the hitches we had when we were starting. We don't want to keep also you so much. We want to keep time, and so that you can go on with the rest of your day. Thank you so much, Uni. Welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I will begin from what I'm seeing on the Q&A. Some of those questions, of course, are for the Sacco, so I will try to just check out what I can quickly respond to. But I have also seen some concerns about, the financial challenges and contributions. I want to say this to us. When it comes to saving, many times it's more a matter of willingness. And I want to say this to members who may be going through financial challenges. Even when you're going through difficulty, and maybe you cannot put aside the 100 shillings you wanted to, if you can put away 10 shillings, please put it. So for the members who have struggled during this time, maybe you've not been able to make your contributions. I know the Sacco will be handling that, but I want to say, look and see, what is it you can put? If you can put even 10 shillings, put it as you discuss, so that you can be able to manage that. Now, somebody's asking the issue of SASRA and the issue of the supervisory committee taking up the issue of audit. I know, especially if you're an accountant, we have a lot of questions and maybe some input about that, because the audit committee, there's a way the audit committee did function, which of course the supervisory committee is an oversight. However, there could have been a lot of overlaps, and so in looking at how best to put resources at work, yes, there could be some thoughts into why not still have the audit committee. But this is what I want to say, that if we can embed risk management practices in everything that we can do, it will help a lot, even if we don't necessarily have an audit committee per se as we talked about it. Let's embed the risk management eye in all the committees, within the credit, within the education committee, within the finance committee, through all committees. Let's wear that hat of risk and embed that in what we have. In other words, what I'm saying, if you look at the regulations for FOSA, we have the audit committee, and what are their roles? How can we borrow some of that and ensure that within our functional committees, we are not ignoring those aspects? I'm trying to check if we have other questions. There's a comment: wisdom detected. A wise man puts all his eggs in one basket. and watches it. Yes. I would like more visibility on insider loans. Mhasibu is typing an answer. Yeah, insider loan simply means loans that have been taken by people who are working on the inside of the Sacco or oversighting on the inside. Board members and staff members, supervisory committee members, those are insiders. Okay, I think maybe we could have had a few on the chat. I know I saw somebody raising a question there. I will just try and see if there's anything there. Does the Sacco currently meet the minimum capital and minimum liquidity requirements? I think that will be answered by the Secretariat. I'm trying to check. My Sacco, my basket, let this be reflected in your responsiveness and in your demonstration of awareness of the environment. Yes. Let me say that even as I say my Sacco, my basket, it is true that sometimes there are some needs that you find at that moment your Sacco cannot meet. And that's why I was saying, bring these needs on. Let the Sacco know. But yes, sometimes you might find that one or two areas of what you're seeking, you want to get out there. But I'm saying that a lot of the times I have found the shopkeeper has the milk, but he's buying the milk from elsewhere. Somebody is asking, what if the one basket frustrates you? And that's what I was saying. If the one basket frustrates you, talk about it. Bring it back and say, I'm frustrated. Go back to the shopkeeper. If the shopkeeper is selling Tuzo and his family has refused to take Tuzo, and they're saying, us, we want Gold Crown. So he's frustrated. He has the milk, but this milk is not serving the purpose of his family. What does he do? He has to look for a solution, whether it means that now he starts stocking more of Gold Crown, so that he doesn't have to sell Tuzo, yet go and buy Gold Crown from the neighbor. So it is important that if the basket is frustrating, remember who is the owner? You are the owner. So please talk about it. Engage the Sacco. Let them know, as I said earlier, what are the pain points? Where are you finding challenges and what can they do about it? I must also say that we are coming into a place in the financial industries sector where we are realizing that the reality is I might not be able to meet 100% of my members' financial needs. So then what is emerging is opportunities for partnership. If I cannot meet that 100%, yet I have someone else who can meet it, how can I partner with this other provider so that I can bring this service closer to my member and in a form and manner which my member can appreciate? So we are having a lot of opportunities for partnership, and that's why you're seeing Saccos now partnering with other institutions to bring these solutions closer home, because there is strength in numbers. Remember, what is a Sacco? We come together to achieve some objective. When you go on your own, look for the solution in a big C, maybe you don't get the big benefits. If we come together and the Sacco does it for us, we could be able to harness the benefit. So yes, if the Sacco is frustrating, bring the frustration back home. Let's see what the Sacco can do. If they cannot meet it directly, is it possible that the Sacco can actually partner? In some cases, you say, okay, that one for sure, we cannot do, so it is okay, but you still keep into us as a member. Yeah, so I think I'm coming to the end of what I have seen on the chat, because most people, I think, put their comments on the chat. Somebody is saying insightful presentation, although contrary to principle of diversification in financial management. That is true, and that's why I started by saying, when you're doing financial management, we always say diversify. But what I'm saying, if you diversify too much, you are watering down your Sacco. So at the end of the day, you might actually have no Sacco. So if you are the owner of this Sacco, when you want to diversify, you must look keenly and say, what exactly is this need? Why must you diversify? Otherwise, if every member went out to diversify just for the purpose of financial management, I can assure you the Sacco might be something else in the years to come. So that's why we are saying, even when we need to diversify, we must be very strategic about it. Yes, I agree. We are all accountants. We know diversification is a safety net, and that's why I'm still saying, even as you diversify, you need to be careful. I have seen people who have diversified and watered down their SACCOs. What are the advantages of joining SASRA? SASRA, number one, I must say that it's a regulation. So first of all, it is mandatory, so we cannot fail to join. So if you don't join SASRA, then your SACCO is not authorized, and in so doing, you cannot do business, so the members will not have confidence. But as I've already said, overriding factor of the SASRA authorization, increased oversight. So to the member, your confidence should be increased that there's a big brother that is watching. On the other side of it, even if you may not know, as I already said, as individuals, when we are being watched over, it puts us on our toes. When you are on your toes, most likely you will do your best, and we find we eliminate some of the challenges that we could be facing. I want to say, Rosalind, that generally speaking, I think from what I've been able to pick out of the chat and of the Q&A, we probably have answered the questions. Yeah, kwa ground ni different. I hear you. Na hapo ndio tunasema turudi kwa ground. You know, if it was a bank where I have no ownership, I have no problem. I will diversify. If it's a Sacco where I have invested over the years, and I am a member, and I am an owner, and I am a founder, diversification will come in a very different context. So what I'm saying, it is my shop. I am selling milk. So before I go out to buy somebody else's milk, there are a few questions I will ask myself. And as much as I have the milk that I can sell to myself, that is the first point of call. But if it was a bank where I just walk in and, well, I don't have too much stake, of course, the approach would be different. So thank you very much, members of Mhasibu. I still say, my Sacco, my basket. Thank you, Rosalind.
Thank you so much, Uni. Yeah, my Sacco, my basket. So we have really tried. It's 11:03, and we are coming to the close of the session. There are so many questions that the members have asked. Most of them has been responded to, and we continue to respond. We shall not, by the time we are done, all these questions will be answered. But the secretariat team that is responding is actively on them. So thank you so much for all your questions, for staying with us. As we come to the close of our meeting, I would like to invite one director, CPA Charles Miricho, to do the vote of thanks. And thereafter, we shall have one of the directors, that is our chair of credit committee, Alice, to come and do the prayers, the closing prayers. And thank you so much. Director CPA Miricho, kindly come.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Members, mine is simple, and that's to give the vote of thanks. We all know that kilisho na mwanzo pia kina mwisho. And first and foremost is to acknowledge the Almighty God for granting us this opportunity to meet via this platform, the webinar. During this period, we've realized that life is quite precious, and it takes the heart of God even to be able to meet. Our esteemed members, it's an honor hosting you via this platform. And at some point, I realized we were almost 600, and you've raised over 130 questions, yeah. And around 100 has already been responded to. So it means you did not just attend, but you interacted with us. Asanteni sana. Whatever is remaining, I do believe that we shall be able to respond via our regular newsletters. Andre, our consultant, Madam Uni Nzioka, if I'm getting it right, Vice Chair, and your team. Kudos for the educative ones you've shared with us. This actually is going to help us in navigating the next frontier in strengthening our Sacco. Above all, that quote from Andrew Carnegie, that one actually, it's a lesson to me today. I'm somewhere trying to diversify, but probably I may need to put things in one basket. Madam Chair, board members, supervisory, as Mhasibu officials, thanks for your time and effort as we transition these esteemed Sacco from the Cooperative Act regulations to the SASLA regulations. To our secretariat from the CEO and to the team at the receptions, and also those at the store, thank you for making this webinar a success. Members, let us continue tukishirikiana ili tuweze kuishi na tuboreshe Mhasibu. Asanteni. Back to you, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you so much, Director Miricho, for the wonderful words. So now, before I move on to Director Alice, I would like to remind our members that the meeting will remain, the platform will remain open for a few more minutes. I can see there's still more questions that have not been answered. So we shall take that time to actually respond to all these questions because we purpose to at least answer all these questions that are on Q&A. And therefore, I welcome Director Alice to close the meeting with a word of prayer. Thank you. Director Alice. If she's not there, I can invite Director James Gitu. Would you close for us the word of prayer?
Yes, Vice Chair.
Please close for us the word of prayer.
Thank you. So, bow our hands and pray and give thanks. Almighty God and everlasting Father, we come before you this morning, dancing, leaving our hearts. We want to thank you for the care you've taken for us. Well, thank you for attendance of this meeting, which we have had with the members, interactive meeting. We thank you for all what you have discussed. We thank you for giving us a consultant who has taken us through all the matters which needed to be discussed. And we thank you for enabling each one of us to be attentive to the end. As we come to this close of this meeting, we pray for your protection of each and every member, and also to put in practice what we have learned. We pray trusting in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Director James. We have come to the close of our meeting, and may God bless you all, and may God bless Mhasibu. So the platform shall continue so that these questions can be answered too. And anyone who'd like to leave the meeting, you're free to exit. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and a blessed weekend. Thank you all.